You wake up, and they're gone. No tracks, no fire, no sign of which direction they went. Just you, alone, in a world that has not yet invented the concept of being safe. No walls, no stored food, no way to call for help. Just open land, and everything in it that can smell you. For most of human history, this was not a hypothetical. People got separated from their groups, through injury, through conflict, through disaster, through simple bad luck, in a world that had plenty of it. And what happened next determined everything. To understand what losing your tribe actually meant, you need to understand what your tribe actually was. It wasn't just company, it was your entire survival infrastructure. Your tribe watched for predators while you slept. It shared food when you couldn't find any. It carried you when you were injured. It knew which plants would help a fever and which ones would make it worse. A single human removed from all of that was not just lonely. They were genuinely, immediately, existentially vulnerable. Researchers who study hunter-gatherer societies consistently find the same thing. Solo survival in the Paleolithic was not a plan, it was a death sentence with a delay. The question was never whether one person alone could thrive. The question was how long they could last before the odds caught up. So what did they actually do? The first and most immediate response was almost certainly the same thing your body would do today. Panic, search, call out, not calmly, desperately. Because the brain of a social animal separated from its group does not treat that situation as inconvenient, it treats it as an emergency. The same neural alarm systems that fire for physical pain, for hunger, for immediate danger, those fire for social separation too. Researchers have confirmed this directly. Social isolation activates the same brain regions as physical threat. Your ancient ancestor, alone on that empty landscape, was not just feeling sad. Their nervous system was in full crisis mode. Heart rate elevated, senses sharpened. Every instinct screaming one thing: find them. If they could find their group, they did. Tracking was a serious skill in the ancient world. Broken grass, disturbed soil, the direction of smoke, the sound of voices carried on wind. Finding your group was not guesswork. It was a practiced, urgent, life-or-death skill, and groups, for their part, often looked for missing members too. Anthropological evidence from modern hunter-gatherer societies shows that search behavior is common when someone doesn't return. Groups sent people back along known routes. They listened for calls. They delayed moving camp when someone was missing. Because a missing person wasn't just a loss of one individual, it was a loss of knowledge, of skills, of hands, of someone whose absence made everyone else slightly more vulnerable. Losing a member of a small group was not nothing. It was a measurable reduction in the group's ability to survive. But what if they couldn't find them? What if the group had moved too far? What if days passed with no signal? Then the calculus changed. Alone, with no tribe to return to, there were essentially two paths. The first was to find another group and attempt to join it. This was not simple, and it was not always safe. Groups in the ancient world were not universally welcoming to strangers. A lone individual approaching an unfamiliar group was an unknown quantity, potentially a threat, potentially carrying disease, potentially a scout for a hostile group, potentially just another mouth to feed in a world where food was never guaranteed. Whether they were accepted depended on many things: what they could offer, how they presented themselves, whether anyone in the new group recognized them or vouched for them, and significant amounts of luck. Researchers who study intergroup dynamics in traditional societies have found that lone individuals who arrived with something useful, rare knowledge, a specific skill, a material resource, had meaningfully better outcomes than those who arrived with nothing to offer. Your ancient ancestor, wandering and alone, had the best chance of survival if they had something worth trading for membership. The second path was to survive alone long enough to find a group. This was brutal, and most people probably didn't manage it for long. But the ones who did relied on a specific set of advantages that humans had developed long before. Fire was the most important. Fire meant warmth. It meant cooked food, which is easier to digest and safer to eat. It meant a signal visible from distance. And it meant a barrier, however imperfect, against the predators that the darkness contained. A person alone with the ability to make fire had a survival advantage that was, by the standards of the ancient world, significant. Stone tools were the second. The ability to make a cutting edge from rock meant the ability to process food, build shelter, and defend against threats that bare hands could not handle. And then there was knowledge. Which plants were edible, where water could be found, which terrain offered shelter, which animals to avoid, and which could be hunted alone. A person who had been raised well within a tribe carried that knowledge even when the tribe was gone. The group's accumulated wisdom stored in a single surviving mind. There is something in the archaeological record that hints at what this experience felt like. Researchers studying ancient burial sites have found evidence of individuals who survived serious injuries, broken bones that healed, conditions that would have required extended care, injuries that, in a world without medicine, could only have been survived with significant help from others. The evidence tells us these people were cared for, sustained by their group through periods when they could not sustain themselves. But what about the ones who were alone? The record is quieter there, because the ones who survived alone long enough to leave a mark are rare. And the ones who didn't survive left almost nothing at all. The fear of being cast out, the desperate pull toward belonging, the anxiety that rises when you feel disconnected from the people around you. None of that is irrational. None of it is weakness. It is the inherited memory of a time when separation from your group was not a metaphor for loneliness. It was a countdown. Your brain evolved to treat social belonging as non-negotiable. Not because ancient humans were sentimental, but because the ones who didn't feel that pull didn't make it back. The ones who survived were the ones who searched, who called out, who ran toward any smoke on the horizon that might mean people, who understood in the most immediate and physical way possible that alone was a temporary state you fought your way out of. Or you didn't fight your way out of it at all. Basically, if an ancient human lost their tribe, they had one goal above everything else: find people. Because without people, everything else was just a matter of time.